sitting here reading all this stuff about Periscope going away, which really depresses me. I like Periscope. Periscope is so easy to use. I have many great broadcasts over there on Periscope that we've done. We've done a lot of great things with Periscope. I hate the fact that this is going away. I just hate the fact that Periscope is leaving. But things happen. So we are going to go to our next guest. He is going to join us live here on our big program. I've got to pull up the Skyper information here. I love Skype. Thank God they got bought by a they get bought by Microsoft? Who'd they get bought by? Huh. Well, I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to do something here. Thanks for joining us here on our big broadcast. We are live coast to coast, border to border on iHeartRadio. Also, AMFM247.com, and we are live on CastBox.fm. Say it with me now, whatever the hell that is. And we are going to go to our next guest. He is going to join us here on the old Skip Skype, and we go live to our guest. How are you, my friend?
Very good, sir. How are you?
Welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be with you.
So, I usually let the guests do their own introductions because from time to time I miss things. So go ahead and give us a brief introduction on yourself, my man.
Okay, I am Bob Kosh. I am the sole member of Greater Good Media, LLC. I have a plan that is currently gaining some traction throughout the United States called Reset, with respect to what I am planning to do to pull our country away from a looming, just unbearable recession.
Fantastic. So, talk to us a little bit about this.
Well, the basic plan is to gather as many folks or entities around the world who have access to great deals of cash that have not, they haven't paid their taxes, or they're in shell companies. There's almost $92 trillion in cash and other currency in these shell companies throughout the world, let alone the folks over here in the United States who could possibly benefit from this. And this is where it gets a little controversial because, I'm talking about people maybe who have dealt drugs, some kind of nefarious business dealings, but the world really needs to take a look at itself and say, you know what, we got to bring all our marbles to the table and let everybody play.
Fantastic. So, how did you arrive at this? Because this is quite extraordinary.
Well, I've been in distressed financing for years, and basically from learning how to duck the sheriff to avoid getting your house sold at a sheriff's sale. If you own a restaurant or a bar, if you don't know how the guy's watering down your drinks in the back or working out the front door with some cash in his pocket,
yes,
you're in the wrong business.
Yes. Very much so. We have got a tremendous guest with us today. He joins us live here in our broadcast. Bob Kosh is with us. He is absolutely amazing. And you have done a heck of a lot in your time. I am amazed that you have as much knowledge as you have and are still around. It's amazing. You've done a heck of a lot, my friend.
Well, I really appreciate that, and it's been said so many times that, in a fight, it's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get back up.
Yes.
And nothing could be more true. And that's really, we have to look at the situation right now. If you had gone to my website, I have right on the top there, it says, those who fail to learn business history are doomed to repeat it.
Yes.
And if you go back, Jim, to 2007, houses were selling like crazy, bidding wars, the market values were overinflated. Well, guess what? That's what's happening right now.
Yes.
And in 2008, the proverbial crap hit the fan, and it was
Yes.
devastating. And
Yes.
if you look at just the mechanics, the functionality of what I'm setting forth, is that compare it to 1893 when Grover Cleveland had to ask J.P. Morgan for $6.5 million in gold just so our economy would not die or wither on the vine. The dollar was almost worth nothing, and we came out of it. Now, the plan that I have does not have the component where we have to pay anybody back. So if we were to take, let's say, this $92 trillion, cut it in half, and hopefully think that $46 trillion will be claimed by these folks that have cash, if we took a 20% flat tax on that and had an agreement where these folks would actually keep some of the money within our U.S. borders for small loans, for people who, look at the restaurants, there's 283,000 people who could get kicked out of their homes if something doesn't get done. Here, we could pay off the national deficit in this first wave of money that comes in. Now, take that for a second and just think. You got a young guy in the city. He's up every morning. He's selling drugs. He's getting his guys out at 6 a.m. He's watching his spots. He's in the wrong business, but he's got a work ethic. So don't please tell me that this individual does not want to get involved in legitimate business. We can afford everyone an opportunity, build our communities, build this economy. Let me give you one quick example I think your listeners will love. When Henry Ford first got the assembly line moving, he had his investors were looking to take over his business, and they were going to stop funding what he was doing. So what he did is he contacted. There were two companies that made Ford Motors. He told them, look, if you want my business, what you are going to do is you're going to pack these engines in a particular type of wood, the dimensions he gave him. He used all that wood for his floorboards in the cars so he could move away from these people. This is what has to happen, and it can happen now, because what better time? I mean, like I said, it's all hit the fan. We need to take a real assessment on who we are, what we want. We have a responsibility towards others, and we need to do it here.
Yes. This is just amazing. We have got a great guest with us today. Bob Kosh is joining us here on our broadcast. Ex-con with a plan that can save America from recession and move the economy forward. He's a fascinating guy. And he has experienced all sorts of different things over his time. I don't even know where to begin when I talk about all the things that you've gone through.
Anywhere you want.
So, what was the reason, and what was, I guess, the idea behind this plan that you've come up with here?
Well, we don't have many options in front of us. This is going to be, what did they say in the movie Armageddon? A global killer, the end. Because if you look at all the numbers, they're predicting this could be the greatest global recession in 8 decades.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to happen. If you go to the pie chart in your head, there is so much money, so much gold, so many assets in the world. All we have to do is refunnel it. There's no need to go anywhere else. If we can, perfect example.
Absolutely amazing.
Once again, if you go, the city of Patterson, because if you look, I'm also talking about the implosion of the commercial market, which happened prior to the pandemic. It was already starting. Just basically what we're doing now because of Zoom calls. You're not going to have to be in your office anymore.
Yeah.
So what I'm proposing is take these commercial buildings, these retail spots, and let them become mixed use, where we have some type of residential alternative for these places. In Paterson, New Jersey, first industrial revolution, they suspended zoning because people had to come in from the farms to work in the city, to walk to Colt Firearms, to walk to the factories. So Paterson said, hey, shopkeepers, we'll let you put 2 or 3 apartments up there. That was the birth of the mixed use building. Now, that changed so much for cities in America. Well, this can happen too, because today, if we've got these empty commercial buildings, listen, they're not paying their municipal taxes. You got to pay police, fire fighting, education. So where's that money coming from? This would give an alternative for these buildings. Let's say take the top 2 floors, put apartments up there. You realize what you can do with the homeless? I am from New Jersey. I mean, like I said, I mean, there's nothing but good that can come out of this. Do you think for a minute that there are people with cash, let's say in the Cayman Islands, and they're considering, well, geez, you know, I got an offer to put this money in the United States. Do you think for a minute they're saying, hey, let's call Putin, see if that money is going to sit well in Russia or one of these other countries who will reappropriate it? It's a good thing for us all.
Absolutely amazing. We have got a tremendous guest with us today. So what's been the feedback, Bob, that you've heard on all this?
Better than I ever could have anticipated. Because what I'm putting out there is logical. It really does make sense. Implementing this would be child's play. I would naturally want to do it under the guidance and the auspices of either the Treasury Department or because I investigated doing this online as a foreign agent. That really doesn't fit. But you really can't get either administration to spearhead this.
Yeah.
It can be done, and I can do it with just a little help.
Absolutely amazing. We've got a tremendous guest with us today. He joins us live here on our big program today here on iHeartRadio as well as AM/FM 247.com. And you know what I always think is funny about all this stuff? You brought this up earlier that you're from New Jersey.
Right.
I ventured out a few years ago, and one of my good friends, Michael Nagy, was one of our photographers. He's originally from New Jersey. He moved back to New Jersey, and he took and he got in a U-Haul and took his stuff and flew across the country. And so I went with him. And he told me on the way to New Jersey, he's like, it's like a whole nother country. Holy crap, was he correct. I got there, and Nagy was telling me, he's like, nobody obeys the rules and the laws in New Jersey. I'm like, are you proud of this? Why are you proud of this? And
dude, you just have to get here like on a Wednesday. That's all.
Well, he takes me to the beach, and on the way to the beach, there's this big sign that says, no surfing, no this, no that. We go over this sand hill thing, 25 dudes in wetsuits surfing. He looks at me and he goes, see, they don't obey the rules.
Haven't you ever looked at a sign and say, do they really mean it? You know, no shoes, no shirt, no shirt.
They really mean it.
No matter.
You know what I thought was interesting was he took me to a bagel place because, of course, we had to go have a bagel. He was all about bagels. So he takes me to this bagel place. On the way inside, he tells me, he said, people in New Jersey talk really fast, so you have to keep up. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? So he takes me inside to this to this bagel place, and we're standing there in line, and it's, people are getting their bagels. It's not a big deal, and I'm paying attention to everything around me. Not a big deal. We get up there to the front of the line, get ready to get these bagels, and Nagy turns around and he goes, "Oh, it's Jiggy's first time in New Jersey." This woman turns from the previous customer was, "Hi, may I help you, sir?" All of a sudden, she brokes in to this full-scale Andrew Dice Clay routine. She starts in with "Well, what do you have?" Starts in with all the... I'm like, what? As soon as we're done, the next customer, she's like, "Can I help you, sir?"
Yeah, that's why they serve a lot of medication in many luncheonettes here. In
It's the craziest deal. But I will have to say that, all the stuff I've heard about New Jersey over the years, I didn't really experience any of that. Everybody's in a good mood. Everybody's having a good time.
No, it's a good spot.
So this plan, have you been able to get this to some higher ups or some folks to look this over, or?
Well, I had, and that's the reason we're talking today, there, sir, because
Yeah.
I really want. I've got it out. It's being looked at, but I really want to get it to the upper echelon of, people that can really sit down and say, this just might work. Let's take a stab at it, because there's nothing to lose, nothing whatsoever.
Yeah, nothing.
So what I keep trying to do, and in January I'm really going to do this in a big way, is really make a grand effort to get this to our government, because if you look at this, and once again, I have the book is coming out the end of January, which I can discuss with you at a later date.
Yes, and I definitely want to have you back to discuss that as well.
Yeah, we are returning back to individualism. The advent of the 3D printer, I mean, if you look, it's going to be a heck of a rat race, because if you look at the deal that China just made with the other Pacific Rim countries, where they excluded the United States, this is the perfect time for the administration, the incoming administration, to really spearhead the effort to now become self-serving as our economy and return to the economic superpower that we are. Because like I said earlier, there's nobody running to China and say, "Look, I got $1 trillion. I want to put a World Bank this thing." Oh, great, yeah. By the way, you're under arrest.
We've got a tremendous guest with us today. He joins us live here in our broadcast. And Robert Kosh is one of the most amazing guests I've had on this week. He is tremendous. And we have talked a little bit about everything. We've talked about his plan. He's got a brand new book coming out. We've talked about New Jersey. We have we've talked about bagels. We've talked about a little bit of everything today. Now, one of the things that I do want to get your thoughts on, since you're in the New Jersey area and all this, one of the things that has become it's kind of a weird deal on YouTube. I've noticed fairly recently that there used to be a lot of these pro wrestlers that would get on YouTube and they would do these shoot interviews where they would talk about the wrestling business, or this guy sucks in the wrestling business, things like this.
George the Animal Steel.
Yes. Yes.
Thrilling days of yesteryear.
Yes. Well, what has now become sort of a YouTube, I guess, something that people need to see, are these former mafia guys who are getting on and doing these shoot interviews. Where they're talking about, this guy was a piece of crap, and this guy's this and that. Why is it that people are so into the mafia after all these years?
You know what? It is. It's an anomaly, to say the least, because when you run out of gas and you're a, let's say, mafia member, you've got your wives on TV promoting shampoo. I mean, what does that say about your strength for you and Paulie Walnuts to go, hijack a load of cigarettes? it is a magical place full of wonderment. New Jersey is. So I would hurry down the turnpike and come on and visit us in the Garden State.
That is tremendous, tremendous. And as a great guest with us today, he joins us live here in our broadcast. And as we go, my friend, how do people find you on the web and get in touch with you, my man?
Well, please visit www.greatergoodmediallc.com.
Okay.
You have to throw the LLC in there because there's a lot of, Greater Good Media stuff out there. But please, if you have questions, I would love to circle back with you at the end of January.
Yes.
If possible.
I definitely want to.
Because I will have this all fully developed and we can talk further. But please, I'll be glad to talk to anybody if they have questions, anything, because it's going to be a rocky road coming up. If we don't do something.
Yes. Well, I definitely want to get you on with all of our various hosts and all of our various folks on the network. And I definitely touch base with me when you're ready to get this book out there and rolling, and we will definitely get you back, my friend. I appreciate it. Thank you for doing this.
I love spending time with you guys.
Definitely,
and
definitely.
I'll figure out how to work this camera on the Skype.
Hey, it's all new. We're gonna make it work, but thank you, brother. Thanks for doing this.
It was great being with you.
Definitely. Have yourself a wonderful day. Merry Christmas, my friend. There he goes, Robert Kosh, and hell of a deal. And we are going to take a time out. When we come back, we've got more coming up on the other side. It is the world famous Jiggy Jaguar radio broadcast back here in a few moments.